Mageba, Sampunguluta, Utomopolaling, Mageba, Mageba, Naruntivesi, Utomopolaling, Mageba.
Came here trying to survive. Hope I make it alive. I quit my 85. Go.
We live.
We live.
We alive.
Okay, I'm just trying to see what the angles look like. Sharpo.
Just check. You gotta make sure.
Nice.
You gotta make sure.
Let me get started. All right, we're back. It's been a minute. There's been lots and lots of things happening, but finally we made it here. I'm with what many are starting to call an OG in the game. He goes by the name Chubbito, aka Chub Heights. What's up, man? What's up?
How you doing, brother?
Easy, man. Thanks for coming. Thank you for having this conversation with me, man.
Yes, man. Thank you so much for having me, man.
I've been saving this for 2 months. You've always been like a counterpart to me.
Yeah.
When I saw you get started in the game with everything,
Yeah.
you are like with the punchline, the boom bap type style. I'm like, that's what I do.
Yeah.
So I always saw you like, oh, that's another guy that does what I do.
That's what I do. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the first time, one of the first times I saw you, there was this campaign. Yeah, Botswana. Botswana has a campaign at the museum, and they had some, and you are like hosting it.
I think I was hosting that.
I was like came in and did a little bit of a poetry thing.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember you did. Oh, that was such a dope poem, by the way.
Yeah.
I remember it. You should put that on record somewhere. Actually, you should record it visually because I think the way you delivered it was so dope for not for audio but for audio visual. But I had always been listening to you. You now listen to me and you're like, you said something that was very key. You said, I wish those were my lines. Or something like that. I was like, yes. Yeah, I still feel like that because I'm now thinking back to that poem. I actually remember it was such a dope poem because there was something comedic about it. Yeah, man. Yeah. You need to let me hear that again.
I need to remember what I was saying. Man. So just a quick one. People that don't know you, please tell me. Start at the very beginning. Who is you? What's the story? Talk to me, man.
Man, Chubbito, Chub Heights. Funny enough, I don't like doing the whole formally known as because people still call me Chub Heights. My government name is Kopano Chwanghai. I have a bunch of middle names or second or third names that always have people go going.
Why? Explain what happened.
No. My first name, my names are Kopano, Seleka, Tatayaone, Chwanghai. Chwanghai is my surname, so I have 2 middle names. Tatayaone is a name I was given by my grandfather's brother.
Yeah. Okay.
And Seleka is the name of our chief.
Okay.
So like our chief also like go kotlako yako high.
Okay.
So kotlako high ki Seleka.
All right.
Yeah, that's the name of, so basically,
cool. You got given a chief's name.
So I've been given a chief. So I'm royalty, man.
I'm
royalty. I'm royalty in that regard. Like I really am royalty.
Yeah.
And the name Kopano, I'm actually saying this for the first time here. Kopano, I got the name Kopano because I was given that name because that was actually the first time my family. Because I was born on the 26th of December, the day after Christmas. That was actually the first ever Christmas where my family, first and only actually, that my family had actually all been together. All been together at the same place at the same time. Ever since that ever since that Christmas, my family has never been together by Lekalo ever again. Because some started passing away and then some never were never. So, because we have family here and in South Africa. So everybody was here, Lobatse.
When you were born?
When I was born.
You know, yesterday I felt like just thinking through, like, what am I going to ask him? I was like, is there anything prophetic about your name, Kopano?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you that. Then I felt like, it's just the name.
Yeah.
Kante, there's some strong meaning.
Yeah, when you ask these
So you're born in Bandling?
I was born in Bandling, man. I was born in Lobatse, Athlone Hospital.
Come on.
Athlone Hospital is the hospital I was born in. My grandmother used to be she used to work there as well. She also worked she was also a matron mental at the mental hospital also. Yeah. So she's full in medics. I am the son of an entrepreneur hustler who's into transport and logistics. My father had combis and taxis and stuff. My mother was more of the accounting, economics stuff. That's more of her line of work.
So what was Bandling like in the time you were born? I have some stories to tell about Bandling.
Bandling, Lobatse has always just been, I think around the time, because I was born there, and then just very shortly after, we moved, because I was raised by my grandparents. So my grandparents moved to Gabs.
Oh, okay.
Because my grandfather was in the education department. Yeah. And then he moved. He got a job. What's this thing? Tirola House was. That's where Ministry of Education was.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the stuff was happening there. Yeah. And then so that's where we moved to Ministry of Education there. Yeah. And he basically moved to Ministry, and then we moved to Gap. So we were staying here. Yeah. And then like in the houses that are right opposite GSS, the houses that are right opposite Marina. Yeah. Those were the houses that we were living in. Okay. And during that time, so basically were
they still fresh then? Because now
they were pretty fresh, around that time. Yeah. They were pretty fresh around that time. Yeah. GSS was, I wouldn't say it was oldish, but it had already it had already been around. Yeah. Yeah, it had already been around. Yeah. And then my old man moved us there. Yeah. And then I went to Thornhill. Okay. Yeah, I went to Thornhill. So I started in Gabs at a very early age, actually. Yeah. Because I was.
Were you back and forth between Bandling and Gabs, or
no?
When you moved here, you were
moved here, we were here now. Okay. We were here now, and then I was staying with my grandparents. I did my whole primary here. Okay. I did my whole primary here, and then from there I went back to, during the time primary, I think 95, my grandfather moved back to Lobatse. Okay. Yeah, he moved back to Lobatse, and then it was during this time that he was just about to retire. He had finished building their retirement home in Lobatse, so they decided they were going to move back there. And then he had this thing, he even said it in one of his speeches, in his retirement speech. He said he just felt like he wanted to break chalk one more time. So he decided he wanted to go and be a teacher, like a full-fledged teacher. He wanted to be in the classroom teaching again one more time. Yeah. So that's how basically he got back into teaching. Yeah. He was teaching at Pitikwe JSS. And then during the years that I was there in high school, just before I finished before I finished Kolopsek, he retired, if I'm not mistaken. It was around that time.
Yeah, man. Bundling. So when we came from Zambia, I think I was 3 years old or something. Yeah. So I knew that we were coming to Botswana. Yeah. So in my the way it was mapped out in my head, Gaborone was Botswana. Yeah. And Lobatse was another place where my cousins stayed, because my cousins were that side. Oh, yeah. So when we go to visit my cousins, like, I want to go back to Botswana. And they used to be like, you are in Botswana. You are in Botswana. So it's like, then I had to remap it after some time, because we were there since young. So we used to do the library. So they stayed Golobsek.
And the library's just here.
Yeah, so we used to do the library. They used to make sure we do the library. Never used to go too far. I think we did Were they arcades go Cumberland? Was they like the game, this Laganyana go Cumberland?
Yeah, I think just around the corner there was like a, a games room of some sort.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, so we used to go up to Cumberland, that area, and just do the games. Then we had to go back. Like we couldn't travel too far there.
Yeah.
It's only after like I got older, we used to go to Chaching, go Wood Hall 1.
Yeah.
So from Wood Hall, you have to go through the back of the Lobatse. They used to, obviously the students had a
yellow.
Yeah, you
What
go
they,
there,
what
then
they
you
call the Channel O.
Channel O. Then you cross through the railway.
And
then they are
get
Wood
into the hood.
Yeah, man. So what side of Bundling were you staying?
I actually lived go Tema 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Tema 1. Before we moved, no, actually, even before, by that, when I was born, we were already living in Tema 1.
Okay.
Then the old man was able to, I think, acquire a plot very close to the one where we had our initial house. That's where they built the retirement home.
Yeah.
So I lived in Tema 1, which is almost on your way to the Zirast border.
Yeah.
Like one of the last neighborhoods.
Yeah.
On your way to the Zirast border, adjacent to, or let me say opposite, Pele, because it's the whole side of Pele, and then on the other side of the road, the whole side is Tema 1.
Okay, so were you one of the people that used to buy go? Is it 4 ways?
Wayside. Yeah.
Choppies. That's the early
the
Choppies.
hood. Yeah, that's the first Choppies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kwa Masaber.
Yeah. So you used to go by that side.
That's the store we always bought from.
Okay.
That's the store I always bought from. And
so explain to me, like, did you see it coming up, like becoming Choppies and whatnot? Did you?
I saw it become Choppies. It was always Wayside. It's always had the.
I think it's gone back to Wayside now again.
Yeah. No, funny enough, the interior is Choppies.
The interior is Choppies, but outside
they use an interior Choppies. Even like the staff.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the branding, everything inside, it's Choppies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they kept the Wayside thing outside, which I think is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
You know what I mean? Because it means something to the neighborhood to see
man.
that. So they refresh the paint and occasionally, which I think is a dope thing to do. You know what I mean?
Any nice bundling stories? Because bundling stories are almost mythical.
Dog. Dog, there's always just so many, man. Yeah. There was a group of guys that I used to. There's always like a couple of things that I always find myself like trying to remember. I think one of the most mythical things that's always been there has always been the Pilling Dam thing.
Okay.
That there's a mermaid there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know that story.
And there's times when I don't know if maybe I've heard the story too often or too many times that I honestly think I must have seen a mermaid there, man. so there's times I'm like, no, man, I think I've seen that thing. You know what I mean? So you should even see sometimes when because it's so funny, like I think 1 or 2 years ago, one of these photographers, very popular photographers, Mochaborone, discovered Pilling Dam. Yeah. And then, because there was a couple of years, when there was like crazy droughts. And even Kochaborone Dam was pretty bad. Yeah. That place was just bad, like there was nothing, no water. Yeah. So, and there's also kind of just been like stories for it because it's such a long river. Yeah. I think there's like there's farms that apparently have pipes that go there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think when the seasons are bad, there's absolutely no water. Yeah. So there was a guy that discovered that, and I think there was water in it now, and I think and some guy took like a really dope pictures of it and he had put them up. Hey, you should have seen us Lobatse people whining on that guy. Everybody was just like, where's this? Where's it? People who are not from there. Yeah. But I was like, where's this? Everybody from Lobatse was just like, don't go there. Do not go there. You don't want to go there, man.
Meaning, this is our place. Like, you don't even know.
No, not even like on some. It was just on some guys. That place is dangerous. There are mermaids and they will steal you. So it's just like, those childhood stories that you've always known. Yeah. But the thing is, we don't even remember. I can't recall if there was ever a person that we knew Lobatse who disappeared there. Yeah. It was just a thing where it was just like, you don't want to go there, man.
Okay, tell me about one of the stories. I don't know if you know it. It's about Radio Ghost.
Radio Ghost. I don't know if I know stories about Radio Ghost.
Radio Ghost. I don't know if Radio Ghost was a person who kept going in and out of jail. Lobatse, and then used to stab people a lot or something like that. And everybody, when the kids meet him, they have to run away from Radio Ghost.
I don't know if I ever
So there was this guy, hello, who just used to like always harass people. Radi ghost.
I don't remember.
That's a bad story.
I don't remember Radi Ghost.
Obviously, there was those jokes that go.
Yeah, but I'll ask one of my homies. He
Got it, goose.
Yeah. But I think one of the other things that I also came to realize, I think that time period when I was schooling here.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I used to always go to Lobatse. As much as I went to Lobatse for the holidays, every holiday in Lobatse.
Yeah.
But that time period when I was schooling here and not there, I missed a lot of the Lobatse tradition of those years when people were coming up. Like, there was a lot of like hood legends also that I came to realize, because now I went there for my Form 2. And when I got there, it was already like there was already a culture of some sort. There was people, there's this type of person. I remember there was a guy on Abido Abolen. I think guys know him in Gabs now. He's a cop who used to always ride bikes, who used to always be on a motorbike. That guy terrorized everybody. That guy was one of those guys that like caught everybody, dog. And he was
for what?
And he used to like stunt on his bike. Like he used to ride his bike very reckless, like very like Rough Rider type. DMX type stuff on some
like wheelies,
he would pop a wheel, like Meek Mill type stuff with with a motorbike. Like he could do that. We were just like, hey, this guy is just like.
So why was he catching
young
people?
Kids knew him. So he was like a hood legend. Like he was just like the legend in the town.
Was he like Bad Boys type of vibe, like catching people for? Like
he was kind of like that for the Botswana version of that kind of guy.
Okay,
you know what I mean.
Okay,
so it was always just like, but then he was like, for the young guys without licenses, he would catch those guys, and then he was always because he was a legend. He was also kind of known to be cool with you sometimes. Like maybe one or two people would have a story, hey, but he let me go. Yeah, and then some people were just like, hey, he booked you. You know what I mean? And it was just like, what are you gonna do about it, dog? Like, if he feels like it, he does it. If he doesn't feel like it, it's your lucky day.
So now he's in Gabs now.
Now he works in Gabs. There was a time I heard he was working in Mahalape, but I think he's in Gabs now.
He must be a bit more chilled now.
Yeah, and he's not urban legending around here anymore.
Yeah, so there's also that story at BMC or when they're cooking with BMC and it smells good.
Yo, that's a real thing.
The broke dudes will be out here with Kapapu just going like, yo.
Oh man.
How true is that?
Yo, we claim that story hard though, man. we claim that story hard. I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. That thing is far from the truth, bro. Nobody does that, bro. But I will tell you this: the reason why that story is so real, man, is because that smell is amazing, bro. Like,
really,
there's times when that smell is so good, where you're like, woo, yeah, no, they're setting it off today. And I swear, there's times when people will just be thinking, there must be like a particular lady who knows how to it. She sets it off in there, like.
Wait. Are they different smells? Like some days are better than others?
Yeah, no, there's days when you can smell and it's like, yo, BMC today it's not popping. Yeah, no, we don't want to eat that. Whatever that is, we don't want to.
That's not us.
And the thing is, we don't even know where that's going. Yeah. It's like, because I think at the time, I think they're making the canned thing. So I think it's the beef abaya or whatever that they're gonna can or whatever. Yeah. Because obviously they can't be cooking the red meat. I guess the red meat they're gonna you'll cook it when you buy it. Yeah. So I think it's the canned, like the echo. Yeah. It's that smell. Yeah. So there's times when it's popping. There's times when it's not.
Yeah. There's echo. There's the mohodu type joints, and
there's those things. Yeah. So those are the smells that we were getting from out there. So
that's what was it like more populated, more people happening, like bundling back in the days? Was it like right now? Is there a big difference, like from in your point of view? Like is it more things happening or less things happening now, activity wise?
Activity wise, I think I would definitely say there's definitely a fluctuation, man. I don't know. I don't want to say there's more things happening, because I remember a lot of things that used to take place that aren't happening now. You know what I mean? There was a lot of town pride, especially with a lot of things. I remember like Ganas used to be super popular back then. You know what I mean? There was like a thing. There was like a pride that the team instilled in the people back then. But But it was also very like back and forth because, and I didn't like that about Ghana because it became a thing where it kind of showed Hore, like it's like it's like how team you will see from how practice thing because there was always practice every day at 5, like after 5. So people must span and to the field, and it's like the field it's right by. Like on your way out of House of Robotong, on your way to Piling, it's right there. Like my church is very close to the thing. So it's a field that everybody can see from like a lot of vantage points. So you can see how hit the hats Hatimin kila winner. Like maybe we won that weekend. You'll see Monday practice. It's packed, bro. It's like a real game. It gets like that. Like but pack on the side of the road.
But if they don't,
when the team is doing bad, you'll see. Nah, people are like nah.
So it was a bit fleeting.
So yeah, it was kind of fleeting, you know what I mean? And then slowly when time goes on, you start hearing kinda sometimes it's because management sometimes these guys would hold the team at ransom or hold the management at ransom. The management would act like Hakuna Madi or whatever, and then they'd start performing badly. And then when the management starts to see, hey, this is making us look bad, then they pull Zakanyana maybe a week before. Practice, I know.
Guys are serious.
Guys are here to play now. You could see. So now it was like the team was not all together. Like now, guys were not in sync. Like because now guys were. But no.
Okay, so the last bundling question.
Yeah.
Any escapees?
So sorry, just to. I don't want to not answer what you were asking me.
Yeah.
Basically, I would say, just in terms of activity, there are a lot more things happening now because people are trying different things to get the town to get better. I know that there's been a lot more placing of macro, like there's a lot more building, BHC as well. But then at the same time, like I'm saying, certain things have been taken away. I know that the High Court is no longer that High Court. Like I think it's an appeals court if I'm not mistaken. Now the High Court is in gap. So there's a lot of things that keep doing this. And then Sabrana was built. The new Sabrana was built now, which was a development of some sort. And you understand? But still, we don't have and then on the other hand, I can still say we don't have a tertiary where that can keep like the natives in the town. People are still leaving to
go school and come back or whatever.
If they do come back, they come back. So we still have a lot of people in the town who are working in the town, like working class people who are not from Lobatse. You understand? Because they're either being kibadi bank and that maybe will transfer loswa or wanako serowe or wana wherever or what's a transfer wako Lobatse. You understand? Or teacher and the teachers, a lot of the teachers they are also not from there. They're from other places. You feel me? Yeah. So that's basically what I wanted to say about that. Yeah, but sorry, you were saying one last thing.
I wanted to ask about the mental hospital. Obviously, there are stories.
Oh, yeah.
People that escaped or something. Or you have any stories?
Mental is a crazy thing.
Yeah.
Mental was a real thing. There was the escaping happened too often.
Really?
The escaping happened a lot, even with the prison.
I'm saying really because I thought it was an urban myth or something.
No, that happened a lot.
Even with the prison,
Even with the prison. The funny thing about the prison and the funny thing about these two things though, Lobatse, people always got caught. Because these guys from Lobatse, when they dip, they go into the hoods, like they go where they chill. Like there's really not like these guys were not like the most. I'll be putting if I put it on the guys biling who came from the mental hospital, maybe that I'm putting too much on them because I can obviously you're not together upstairs.
Yes.
So sometimes I'll see maybe but if you're like a criminal, I would expect you to at least hold it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So guys would just be there and it was like we would never be too worried how we knew the guy would be back inside like that 1 or 2 days later. You know what I mean?
They're like really caught.
They get caught, they get taken back. You know what I mean? It was just never a thing, hella. So with the mental hospital, the only other time, it's just that I never say names because certain people are very close to my heart. But there has to, like, I think there was, I've had friends who've gone there. The last experience I had was a friend of mine who I was actually in college with, who ended up going there. He had issues. I think he just had a relationship situation, and then like the grades weren't doing so well. And I think through all of it, he just kind of just. But the thing is, niggas don't go actually like people need to understand. Mental health, you know what I mean? Like even depression and people who like going through a lot of different types of emotional and whatever type of situations.
Even like drug abuse.
Like, even drug abuse, people get taken there because like obviously some people are harming themselves. Yeah. So they gotta be kept from hurting themselves. Yeah. So he was there on like a really, really crazy depression type situation. Yeah. And then I happened to go see this guy because I knew he was there, and a lot of people kept telling me, and I was home kind of holiday, and I was like, I need to see this guy before Kiboy goes Gala, just to see how he's doing, because a lot of people even in school were asking, has anybody gone to see him? Does anybody know? And his roommate was the only guy who was just like he was super cold at the time because they were very close. So he was just one of those guys that you could see this guy's really going through it, like he misses this homie. So he was the guy I would talk to, and I'd be like, yo, man, I'm going to be going back home. I'm going to be home, kadi holiday. I'll try to go see the homie. If you want to come, but take my number, call me, howl at her, you know what I mean? If you do come, I'll show you how to get there. And then and that was even at the old mental hospital. And I went to see the guy, man. And your mental is another place, bro. You can see that guys are just not okay in here. And I managed to see him, and I remember the first thing this guy did when he walked up to me. I'm talking about a person who didn't know I was coming. First thing this guy did when he got up to me, he just pulled out a paper and he gave it to me, and he was like, "You know who to give this to." And then I was like, "Okay, what's up, dog? Okay, sharp. I'm holding this thing. So he's like, "No, don't look at it. Just it's not a hell." Then and I think I had a magazine. I think a Hype magazine or something, and I was just like, "Yo, man, you can have this." And then you could see he really didn't want to talk. Like there was also kind of like a little bit of an embarrassment in his thing. So I really didn't want to keep him there. So I was just like, "Yeah, no, I just came to see how you doing, brother." And he was like, "Yeah, no. It's like not sharp, what." And then I dipped, and then obviously I checked the item, and it was a letter to the chick.
Oh snap! I thought it was the roommate, the chick.
Nah, it was a letter to the chick that dumped him. You know what I mean? And he was just like, and it was just like, I need help. Please come and see me or something like that. Snap. It was just one of those. Hey, that thing broke me, dog. Eish. I was just like, eish. And the thing is, now this girl like by the time that thing is happening. So the roommate Len is not feeling this girl right now, because I think they were not vibing initially, and she kind of caused like a rift between the two of them. So now when this happened, he was just like, "You see now what this girl has done to my nigga, and now this girl is here, Mosgela. I see her every day. My nigga he can't come and finish his schooling, and this and that."
And how's the girl? She's living her best life, or
that girl just kept living like she was just cool.
Snap.
She was just cool. And then I just don't remember what happened, but at some point, this roommate and this girl, I think they kind of reconciled. And they spoke, and then she was just like, I think she was basically just like concerned about the homie. Asking him, "Yo, dude, like, I want to go see this guy." Like, So I think that's how they reconciled, and then, because I do remember after some time. And then the homie came back. And he came and finished his schooling. He came and finished the year.
Is he in a better place, or?
Yeah, he was. But as soon as he came back, they were together again. Him and Shorty. And I was like, "Hey, man, grown people do what grown people do." Like,
crazy, man.
I just stay out of
let's talk about hip hop, man.
Yeah, man.
What happened? Like, how do you mess up your life like that with this thing? Eh?
You know what happened?
What's the first memory? Like, what happened?
One of my first memories will always be. Crisscross. The time I was living Haji SS, we had a neighbor. This guy's name was Sparky.
Okay.
He was a white guy who his mom taught Kothonhil.
Okay, all right.
So he was a guy that he was like a few years older than me. And for me personally, I've always had this thing. I just realized when I was thinking about him the other day and just the homies that I met over the years, I've always like had I've always kind of like drawn in like bigger homies that could like watch over me. Like I liked having a bigger homie because I never had a bigger brother.
That's dope.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was like my bigger homie at some point, and then I used to chill with him, and he would have a lot of flash shit. He would have video games, the Segas, the Nintendos, all those things.
Yeah.
He had those things, and then he kind of started getting into hip hop, and then. So this guy would occasionally go school like at a boarding school because he had like a naughty streak about him.
Okay.
So he would
occasionally like every year he would disappear,
like
come
1 or
back.
2 years he went to which one? I think I'm not sure if UNISA. Not UNISA. I'm not sure what the thing is called. Is it they call it ISA I think now. In SA I think.
Okay.
But I don't know if it was the one that became Mabato High. But there used to be a school called International. At some point.
Yeah.
And internationally, there was a lot of like a lot of the SADC region had kids there.
Oh, okay.
High school kids there. So there was a lot of Botswana there. There was something. So he was taken there at some point. And I think it was after the international time when he was going international that he came back out of the hip hop with this guy.
So how old are you then?
This is primary school, so we're talking, and it's definitely before Standard 5. Because Standard 5 was the year that I moved from that side. Yeah. So I think it was Boma Standard 4. I'm trying to remember how old I was in Standard 4. But maybe my 9, my 10, I don't know.
Yeah, 9, 10.
So that was the time when like this guy, so he would come with the CDs, we checked them out, and then obviously there's a Bob TV thing happening, and on radio occasionally you'll hear about home. One thing I always remember is I liked rapping from Salt and Pepper. Because Salt and Pepper was very big on radio. Because mainstream radio wanted a certain type of rap that was very clean. I understood as the years went by why like gangster rap didn't, like even NWA, they didn't make it into mainstream radio in Botswana because of the type of rap it was considered. Yeah. So Salt and Pepper was clean, was safe. You know what I mean? So I used to hear this rapping thing. Yeah, Salt and Pepper, and luckily those chicks were dope. Yeah, you know what I mean. They could rap, so it was like, okay, this rap thing, I kind of like it. Then I started seeing Bone Bobo, Crisscross, and then it was just like there was a rebellion thing about it, like the whole baggy clothes facing the clothes backwards. I'm like, why you want to do that, man? But it's so cool at the same time, and it's just like. And the thing is, when a guy is wearing clothes back to front, I love Wani. He looks crazy. But when there's two of them, it's like there's something cool about that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So these guys, I was just like, so we just started getting into that thing. And this guy had like the Totally Crossed Out album. He came with that. I would bump that, and I bump it with him. There was no CD player, so I was always listening. He had like a little Sony boombox thing, a really cool black one. So we would listen on that. And then he was just kept getting music, and he had other homies that were like his age, but for some reason like he hung out with me more, and then it was just like
that's nice. No schema malungu like that.
Okay. So basically that was the homie that got me into that, and then. Hip hop took me from there, bro. Like, it just got better and better for me. I became more and more curious.
So are you rapping now, or is it
no? Funny enough, I was always just rapping people's things. Like, I was that guy that was like, I like doing this, but for me, nothing ever came into my head. You could also write your
own stuff.
Things. I never thought of it like that. I always just rapped other people's lyrics all the time. And I got so good at it that, and one thing I remember I was saying this to somebody in an interview one time, when people asked me like and maybe you were going to ask this about how I developed my skill. My key thing was there was always one thing for me. I hated not sounding like what I was listening to. So if I'm reciting a verse, I want to have the same cadence. I want to have the same. I want to sound like these American guys. So I worked so hard on my accent. I worked so hard on. Even when
dope,
I was developing, even when I was taking in the information, because I remember things really well. Like I have a crazy.
So why was that important to you to sound like them?
It was important to me because that was the new cool thing. and I felt like it was more accepted than anything. And for me personally, I was not a very popular guy in school.
Okay.
So for me, it was like among the homies that I had, that was the one thing that I was like, not even the homies that I had, the homies in school, because I used to pay attention a lot to what girls like. The guys in school feel like that guy's cool because he can rap, he can do this.
Okay.
So my thing was like, I don't have the clothes, I don't have this, but I do have this thing. Like I can learn how to rap it the same way they rap it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that always kind of helped me stand out nyana. You know what I mean? When I'm, you know, when I'm doing the Warren G verse, regulate. It has people like on some, hey man, this guy knows this whole verse, man. You know what I mean?
Okay. Also on a competitive tip, there's probably somebody rapping it with a Chinese accent thing.
Of course, you know what I mean?
Then you are like, okay, let me one him up and just do it the real way.
Exactly, you know what I mean?
Right,
and the thing is, the guy, maybe you'll find that there's a guy who can do it almost as well and with the great accent, but maybe because he's like a prettier guy, Mosgela, he's more popular. So if I can do exactly what he does, it's like, okay, yo, I think you're on the level. You know what I mean? Like, hey, it's like that. Like, and the thing is, that's where slowly I came to realize what women say when they say nothing is more attractive than talent, than pure talent. Like, people, like women, I started seeing that women would really fall for talented guys. Like, it wouldn't, like, and a talented guy would still beat, like, attracting women. Like, he would still beat a guy who's just chilling hella. You know what I mean? Like, it would it would really help you get attention at some point. So for me, I was like, oh, so talent actually does work.
So do you think it's talent or confidence?
I gotta say a bit of both, man. You can't just be talented and not confident.
Okay.
Because if I remove the confidence, that bravado was also what played. Like the fact that you
know your things,
you know what you're doing, and you because and I think this is another thing that I came to realize. This is what happened with me. And I'll give you two incidences that happened with this example. The effortlessness of rapping. I started gravitating towards rappers. There was a time when I started wanting to rap now. My own kind of raps. Was around the Cannabis time. Cannabis had a very, like, Cannabis' career may have done whatever it is, but I'll always give him one thing. Cannabis was always amazing with words. He was always you knew he was a smart rapper. Like, he's a smart guy. You know what I mean? From the way he would put things together, and he knew English. You know what I mean? And me having my background in English, because my grandfather was also an English teacher. You know what I mean? So my background in English and coming from the
we'll get there. Don't get ahead of yourself. So Cannabis.
So that effortlessness thing.
The effortlessness.
The time when the Cannabis and LL Cool J thing happened. I was, and I'm gonna be so honest about this, I was so on the Cannabis side, bro. I was so on the Cannabis side, and a few of my homies that were my homies just felt like, nah, bro, Cannabis will never do anything like Cannabis. And I think these guys of mine were very commercialized just in terms of understanding the game. And were just like on some, no, but when we really think about it, who's the bigger artist? LL will always be a more successful and more bigger artist. And I was more about the craft and who really killed who type of thing. You know what I mean? So I think from there I kind of started trying to take in more of LL and trying to understand, and that's where now I started understanding that whole delivery and being very chill when you're doing what you're rapping thing. And that's where now I learned that thing from Jorge. You don't have to fuss too hard, you know what I mean? And I came to realize, once again, I was paying attention to what women liked. I came to realize women actually like it when a guy does his thing in a very chill manner. And there's always that high parasi. You know what I mean?
Because you don't want to come off.
You don't want to come off like you're trying too hard. And then I would say the person.
So that's confidence, or that's a mix of the.
I think that was a mix. Because but once again, the thing with LL, once again, I still had that thing in my head. LL is a pretty guy, so he's got that on his side as well. So maybe the confidence comes from the fact that he knows girls like him already. So for me, I would say the person that stamped it for me was when I started listening to Helter Skelter. Helter Skelter has two members. It was Rock and Rock, but basically Rock and Sean Price. Rock had this very grungy, rough voice thing that I really, really liked, but there was something that kept pulling me to this other homie.
Yeah, if you're wondering what a Helter Skelter, what is this? I know people are like, it's just underground hip hop.
It's underground hip hop. Go listen to it. Yeah. Funny enough, if you do listen to the earlier, let me just say, listen to the Helter Skelter stuff. Don't listen to a lot of the Sean Price stuff, because by the time Sean Price came into the game, I was also developing my own style. But a lot of the cadences, a lot of the structures, a lot of the flows, I got from Sean Price.
Okay,
that is the guy that I decided when I heard Sean Price. I decided, I want to rap, and I want to rap like this guy. This is the guy that I want to rap like. If I want to come out, I want to sound exactly like this homie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that's where it started there from there. Like now we're talking post-primary school. Now we're talking about high school now. You know what I mean?
So did you start writing your own rhymes in high school?
Funny enough, I started writing my own rhymes very late for me.
Yeah.
I started writing my own rhymes after Form 5.
After Form 5?
After Form 5. After Form 5 is when I started writing my own rhymes. Because my first verses...
So this whole time you're just rapping other people's things?
The whole time I'm rapping people's things. When I'm in ciphers, I'm rapping people's things. And I had homies in Lobatse.
Did you ever do battles?
Who were in crews. No. Hey, bro, I didn't have the confidence for it. I did not believe I could go into a battle.
But, okay, were you battling people?
I was doing verse battles.
No, look like you battle... Because you have a lot of battle rapper in you.
Yeah.
So are you battling with people in your room?
You're
not coming out with it, but you got bars for a dude, just in case.
You mean one of those writing just in case somebody wants to try something?
I would look at a guy and go, if this guy ever wants to try something, I'm gonna say this and this. I'm gonna say this and this.
The funny thing is, I tried to do that.
Yeah.
I would occasionally do it, but for me, I would. The crazy thing about it was it would always have me feeling like, hey, but I don't think I would have the balls to step up to a guy.
Okay, so for
and
us,
try to do it. So the writing would be there.
Yeah.
But it was always just on the tuck, like on some, hey, like I knew I wasn't confident enough to step into a battle. I knew the raps would be there, and I think the one thing that kept getting to me was the homies around me, and I love my niggas.
Yeah.
But the homies around me, hella.
Yeah.
I would hear, okay, guys are skilled, but I know I'm nicer than this. Like, I knew. And the crazy thing is, what started happening, especially in Form 4, Form 5, when we got into, like, ciphers with guys, and guys were rapping other people's verses, I would always just, like, punch out with, like, a verse from, like, a track that nobody, like, guys know, but I was always, like, I'm like a crate digger. Like, I'm one of those guys that really goes into the album to listen to the whole thing, and a verse will stand out that I'm like, that's an amazing verse. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you why. Like in GC, it was a bit more like that because of Sprite.
Oh, yeah.
Sprite made us a bit more competitive with each other.
Right.
Back and forth. Especially
there was call-outs.
Yeah.
Like, now you got to come show us.
Yeah. The Sprite was like, let's rap.
Wasn't that.
Then also, like, at the day itself.
Yeah.
The day itself on the final day. Actually, what used to happen was the weekly finals, like you qualify that week.
Yeah, you'd go.
Then another guy qualify. Then at the end of the month,
and then we
pick the winner.
Pick the winner for that.
Then
I think at the end of the year, there's
the guys used to battle each other.
Yeah.
Now you kind of had to be. For me, I don't know. I stayed ready. You
had to be ready.
Had lines for each one of them.
I can't even lie. Whenever I came for those things, in gas, because once again, a lot of those things happen when I was never able to make it a rap activity, even though I would listen to it on radio, because Yarn FM came like 99, so we had like so from
you
around
could catch it from Lobatse.
I think I think it was just very I think the furthest was maybe Lobatse, if I'm not mistaken. But no, actually, let me not lie to you, OD, my homie OD, and you know OD. OD used to record rap activity for me on a tape.
Okay.
And he would give it to me. And we had 2 tapes. So what I would do is I would listen to the one on the other week, and he would record on the other one. On the other weekend. When I'd come to Gabs, I would come with the other tape, and I'd take the other one. Nice. So that's basically how I consumed Sprite rap activity from Yarona FM.
Yeah.
That's how I did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you could see like how hard I followed the culture.
Yeah.
Because at most what we had was Strictly Hip Hop Live. Yeah, but with Bodra Steak and Bohomana, that was on RB2 back then.
Yeah.
That was what they had. So on there I would hear the battles. I remember very well hearing the battle that Aura won on air.
Yeah.
That one I was listening to that battle. And when I was listening to it, I was like, go to there when I heard that. For me, like I knew I had the same accent, I could do the same thing. But for me, like I was like, this guy's light years ahead of me in terms of like what he can do. Like the skill level, I was like, this guy's not saying anything I can't say.
Yeah.
It's just that over the years, and I think maybe this is why he became very close to me, like just in terms of the MC that I revered.
Yeah.
Because I've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
But I only met him, I wouldn't say very recently, but I met him much later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I met him much later. But
yeah.
And when I started listening to how you know,
locally how
he got better and better and better, and the way he got better for me, I was like, now this guy's becoming like, you know, when you watch like that whole Super Saiyan thing happen, that's how he became for me now, because then his freestyling was out of here.
Yeah.
At some point.
Locally, how high do you place Aura, like locally, like amongst local MCs?
He's my number one.
He's number one.
He's my number one. Aura is my number one. I say that with my chest. That guy is my number one. And for me, the way the way I place artists for me in my chart or top 10 or top 5 or whatever. Yeah. I place rappers according to how much of a fan you make me of you. And the time when, and nobody for me has ever made me like sit back and enjoy listening to a rapper the way Aura does when he's like, and for me, like the tracks when he writes the joints, that's something else. Yeah. Because he's special at that too. Yeah. But his freestyling, bro, that's how you can tell that guy's a Gemini, bro. That's how you can tell he's a Gemini. His wit is insane. Yeah. I've seen that guy, like, I have a special story of Aura where I was at Sine Wave.
Yeah.
This was Sine Wave and it was in Block 6.
Okay.
And I went there with my homie Nitro. Nitro's another special rapper that I chart very highly.
Yeah, Nitro knocked me out in the finals thing. He knocked me out proper. Yeah, but
he's a crazy one.
Yeah.
But you went against Nitro? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, it was
proper. I know you were on it.
Yeah.
You were on it. For you to go against that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, And I remember
anyway, continue.
Nitro took me to Sine Wave and I was chilling there, and I remember we would always just be chilling outside. So this but Chubbito, everybody there. So I think either Aura was there or he came later. But Aura leaves with somebody. I think he leaves with Nitro. Yeah. And I think they go to the tuck shop or something. Yeah. Then they come back. As they come back, these guys are hopping over the fence. The guy who lives next door is just like a young guy, I think. Yeah. So he pulls up. The guy who lives next door pulls up. And I literally tell you, we're sitting next to we're on the side of the house. The fence is right there. These guys are hopping over the fence, and this guy pulls up at the same time and parks. As he parks his car, he's blasting music out of it. You can't really tell what's playing, but you can just hear kum kum ka, kum kum ka. When I tell you that, I remember I think I said something to Nitro, and just as I said it, Aura took the last word I said, started freestyling on the beat that was playing from the car. And you know when it's all happening when you're like, wait, is this guy? And I'm like, bro, this guy went off, bro. This guy went off. And you know, a guy's doing this while he's climbing a fence, bro. Yeah. I'm just like, guys, how are guys this talented, never? You know, that's where now, like when I say I chart guys according to how much of a fan I become of you when I'm watching you doing your thing. Yeah. That's why he's my number one, bro.
I'll tell you what, though, what those guys were doing in J-Mac, I think sparked something very different.
It did.
So you ever heard of EQ as well?
I know. I think I know all of them by now.
And I don't know if
the only guy I never met was they have different generations. Of these guys.
Yeah.
So I've never met the older homies.
Ming.
I know Ming, but
Would Ming be one of the older homies or just
Ming? Yeah, from what I was told, Ming, and this is why you should get like Sybil to come here.
Yeah.
Sybil will definitely break down all those generations for you.
Oh, nice.
He's the guy that can do it.
For
Shay
sure.
also breaks it down very well.
Nice.
But Ming was one of the OGs. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Him and I think there was an Aziz there.
Yeah.
A guy called Aziz. I've never met Illustrate Justin.
Yeah.
I've never met him. He was also another person that I listened to a lot of his freestyles. But he was friends with one of like my family friends, my cousin family friend, Skill Assist. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was friends. They were friends in Cape Town.
What they do that side in J-Mac?
Bro, I don't know what those guys were eating there, though. But those guys, like, and one thing I could always tell you, you're very right about that, because even some of the lower grade guys, babone, who were like, who you would hear, oh, this guy also J-Mac, got the guys who were very like proud when they stepped into ciphers. They would use that.
Let me tell you why. I got a story.
For guys who are like, oh snap, okay, you're like a J-Mac guy.
I got a story,
and
I got a story.
That thing terrified people.
That guy over the story is like phase 4, right? This is after we finished from Firefell. I think the next year, and we're just doing like little parties every weekend. So I don't know. We just end up in Game City. Then we go back to phase 4. At the parties in phase 4. Okay, we go back sharp. But we're just at the Brian. We're having a couple of beers. So I'm with Rek. I'm with another guy called Menace.
Okay.
Yeah. Tabo is another friend of mine.
Yeah.
So the three sharp. Then somebody from nowhere just went F phase 4. I'm like, yeah, you guys, what are you saying? Then he starts rapping.
Who was this?
Some guy, I think.
Just a random guy.
Just random guys.
Hey.
So they start rapping. I'm like, no, what are they? So it was kind of like, what skill does Phase 4 have? Phase 4 has never.
Who's gonna step up?
So here's the problem is if we lose. Yeah. Phase 4 guys won't forgive us. They'll be like, rapper. Phase 4 guys will not forgive us.
Yeah, no.
And it's like 15 guys versus us 3. So it's getting really bad. But we're holding our own. Yeah. I don't know if you know Goblin Face Block 5 Gobs. Light skinned guy, short guy. Anyway, he's also one of the guys. Okay. So we're just going back and forth. But it's only 3 of us. Yeah. So it gets monotonous.
So you guys are holding like 15 guys.
Yeah, 15 guys. The guys are rapping. And then again now, in between that, girls start coming in. And you know the kind of girls that like go, whoa, that understand the bars. Yeah. So it becomes a little heavy.
Yeah.
Now from nowhere, another guy just comes and says, yo, J-Mac. From the other side. Yeah. And it's phase 4 versus everybody. Yeah. We started losing confidence like that. We started losing.
Bro, and when you wouldn't want to go against the J-Mac guy, bro.
And here's the funny thing. His bravado felt like he was like a map kid kind of vibes. Yeah. And it's like he wasn't even taking rap that seriously type of vibe. It's like a guy who's like his mom was gonna send him for engineering to Australia or something like those type of guys.
There was guys like that from, and a lot of these map kids kind of came from
J-Mac
from J-Mac. Yeah. So there was guys like there was a guy I remember called like, was it Quantum? There was a guy called Quantum at some point.
Yeah. So let me finish the story.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So he's like, and us, we're about this life. Us, there's no mom taking us to Australia. Hey. This is it for us. Yeah. So he starts spitting, and you can tell that this guy's a prodigy, direct link. You can tell that this guy, there's a little bit of nitro here, a little bit of Ming, and this is the time again. The reason why everybody just said, when he said J-Mac, everybody just said, okay, yeah, we have our hero. Yeah, take it.
He's
Apollo's on top, and Apollo's going J Mac when he raps.
Yeah.
And Oracle's on top, and he's saying that.
Yeah.
And even in the underground, we know what Bonitro and EQ are doing. So if this guy just comes and says J Mac, it became tough like that.
Bro.
It became tough. I'll tell you what saved us.
Yeah.
What saved us? You won't believe this story. So, from nowhere, we're finished. We're finished. Other guys are finished.
Out of raps.
Hey. And this guy's rapping.
Hey.
Then a guy comes through. Young, skinny, tall guy. He's also a phase 4 guy. And he says, yo, phase 4. I'm shouting phase 4. 15 years old.
I'm trying to...
Mudu the party.
Mudu the party. Dope. Okay.
Mudu the party saves us.
Yeah.
He starts spitting.
Yeah.
And the way he's spitting, he's got that... the way I was describing it back then was like, he was like a Fabulous meets like a Nas.
Yeah.
Now I would be like, it was more like a J. Cole before J. Cole. So he spit like
yo,
really
because Mdu is nice, man. Mdu can rap. Like
so,
you can see he's been consuming it from the time it was out.
Yeah, like so he's spitting and it's nice.
Yeah.
And the guys are like, okay. These guys we can see we are 20 and these guys are just 4.
Yeah, but
okay.
But
so it became peaceful. Let's just agree to disagree. Sharp. Yeah. No one will mess up with phase 4.
Yeah.
We're good. Mdu helped us because we were
dope,
and he brought some really fresh stuff.
Yeah.
So, and that time I was like, this 15-year-old guy, we don't lose him. This guy needs to be rapped, but he's from the other side of the bridge. I'm from the Sweets Flats, so he's not from the other side of the bridge. So I talked about guys, keep an eye on this guy.
You have a guy that side.
Hey, keep an eye on this guy.
Yeah.
So Mudu, I mean, just to continue, when he starts doing this whole Mudu the party thing, party papi, I'm like, this guy's supposed to be rapping. What is he party papiing for? Like. He was nice. He was like Prodigy.
Yeah, he's
nice type of vibe.
Like even now, like because now he does a lot of the Notwani, and shout out to him do the party.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? So he does the stuff at Notwani, and he's got a lot of different things that he gets into. But he's very about the culture, man.
Yeah,
he's very much about the culture.
I think it's coming back now. He was trying to hide it with this party.
Yeah. The thing is that because occasionally like he'll script something that he goes and does.
Yeah.
Then he'll kind of just like when he's opening up the set, he'll
rap some less bars.
Okay, okay, we see you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's really dope, man. That's really dope.
Hey man, J Mac, man. So anyway,
no, J Mac.
So okay, Form 5. You finish Form 5, then you start rapping your own lyrics. What was making you rap your own lyrics?
What was making me rap my own lyrics was actually Skill Assist, my boy's cousin. Yeah. Which I call my cousin. He's my cousin. Bro.
Yeah.
So he went to Cape Town. He was there with a lot of these Cape Town rappers. And the Cape Town scene was crazy. And when he got there, like now because he was always in the culture here. That they be here when he was in Lobatse, he was part of a group called Crazy Effects. So, which was him, a homie of mine called Nchizi, and another homie of mine called Wadito. Wadito is the guy that runs the Bandlengwa Pizza brand. Like, whenever you see the Bandlengwa Pizza brand, he's the guy behind the graphics, he's the guy behind the events, all of it. So, shout out to my dogs. So these homies were in a group together, and then obviously after high school, everybody goes and does their thing. And then he went to Cape Town. So when he was doing architecture in Cape Town, I think he was at Abbott's, he met those guys. So over there, guys taught the culture really quick. He learned how to record music. He learned how to think, and he was getting like, obviously maybe with his spare money, he was getting like a computer equipment. Equipment. So by the time he came back, like after a year, this guy knew how to record music. He taught me, like, there was a thing called Acid Pro. There was a Acid Pro. He taught me how to use that. He taught me how to use SoundForge. Like, I knew all of these things.
Nice.
I knew he was teaching me how to know when you record a video with Baya, and this is how you sync it with the words with the song. And this guy was like doing videos and songs for guys in the hood called Lobatse, like anybody who was willing to jump on. You know what I mean? And there was another label I knew of youngsters, of another dude that was kind of collecting a bunch of youngsters. and these guys were trying to like do their own little label there. And then so this guy was kind of like had a thing against Skill Assist.
Yeah.
And just kind of felt like he thinks he's gonna start a label.
Yeah.
I've got a label here. And then everything just went apart once I joined my cousin's label because it was like I'm the best thing around here.
Yeah.
So it was like, no.
Okay, cool. So you
I
joined your cousin's label.
So not really. Like I start recording with him. So
yeah. So you're writing your own rhymes.
In terms of now, the need to put original lyrics on music.
Yeah.
Now the need is there because there's a guy who has come with the recording equipment. He's helping me. He's calling me over to his house every day.
Yeah.
He's doing it for free.
Yeah.
And he makes beats now.
Yeah.
So he's learned how to make beats from Fruity Loop. So he's on Samsa. And then the thing is, my best friend OD was making beats back then. You remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
You know what I mean? So he was also already like super nice with the beats now. So I would have beats and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna record here.
Yeah.
So I was now doing that now. Now I'm getting into the thing of recording my own lyrics. And the thing is, I'm enjoying it because I feel like, wow, damn, I'm this good. Like, so now I'm like, every time I write a verse and I like it, I feel like, hey, but imagine if I tried to do this. That goes into the next verse.
Nice.
So now I've got things. So now I had this thing where, and another thing, I didn't even understand 16s back then.
Yeah.
So for me, a verse was a page of a book.
Yeah.
So I can sort of that page has like 32 lines to 40 lines.
Yeah.
That was a verse for me.
Yeah.
When I'm rapping, I have to do all those lines.
And you're done.
And then that's when you got the verse from me. So, and the thing is, back then I enjoyed it so much that I was memorizing so much. So in ciphers, I would have like those verses Dilibo 10 in my head.
Okay.
So I have like a page,
10 pages.
like 10 pages of verses in my head.
Nice.
Ready to go, bro.
Okay.
And I was all
okay. So you pick up steam. How does Markman find you? Like, what's the story?
Finally, what happens is Nchizi goes to UB.
Yeah.
He's the guy who was in the crew with my cousin is in SA. He's at UB.
Yeah.
I start visiting him at UB a lot.
Yeah.
And then during this time, one of my other homies is at MAP. That's where I meet Nitro.
Yeah.
So me and Nitro, him, sometimes we visit him. I tell him I know this guy called Nitro. He's like, I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Come through. So one particular time, I think we go to a hip hop thing together, and he sees Nitro. He's like, damn, this guy's dope. Come on, I can bring him by UB so that we can. So we go to check him a lot. Then he's starting to learn how to record music now. So while we're there, one time there's this party that happens called Spank Me. This party happens. My homie was staying at a house very near the corner, like the corner house where it's blind vision now.
Yeah.
The the mosque.
I was at that party.
You were at that party.
Yeah.
It was packed.
I was just trying to remember what the.
It was
packed.
packed.
I was like, I remember that.
That party.
That was the cars were all the way until
all over.
I was there. Yeah.
The soldiers, the cops came so many times.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
So we're in there, and then my homies, and then while I'm there with Nchizi introduces me to his roommate. His roommate is a guy called Chops. What up, Chops?
Yeah.
And then Chops is friends with VH.
Yeah.
So when I'm there, a couple of times when I was there before the Spank Me happened, this guy knew I made music, so he was like, "Yo, man, I should introduce you to a couple of my homies that make music around."
What was
here.
I doing at Spank Me? Yeah, when I was there. Dog.
So not I was there because it was organized by Bo VH, and they were doing it at my homie's house.
Yeah.
And he was staying with Chops, and Chops, him and VH and Chops were friends. They were the ones that organized Spank.
Yeah.
Little Fouls, actually. They were friends in Little Fouls.
Yeah. Okay, now it's coming. Yeah.
So I end up getting it. I met my homies, and they just tell me there's a party happening. You should come through.
Yeah.
So while I'm there, Chops he sees VH. He's like, actually, I had wanted to introduce you to this guy. He takes me. He introduces me to VH. That was the first time I met VH. We talk. Yeah. VH is a bit standoffish when he meets you for the first time.
Yeah, I know.
So we kick Nyana, but he's a very cordial and like real nigga.
Yeah.
So he talks Nyana, we talk Nyana, we chop it up Nyana. So what are you doing? Obviously he starts getting into what I'm actually doing with the music and what.
Yeah.
So I just tell me he's like, yeah, no, we come by. We've got a studio, you can come by.
Yeah.
So Horan at the time they had just started working and they had just come up with I think their first mixtape.
Yeah.
So they were trying to shop songs on radio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They had a couple of vocalist chicks that used to go to them that sounded really dope.
Yeah.
And then finally it was like, and then this at the time, so I have a younger cousin by the name of Gauteng, but everybody knows him as Mana.
Okay.
He went to LA. He was like a Super Saiyan version of me. Like, because I taught him a lot of the rap things I was doing.
Yeah.
And he enjoyed it a lot. And then the other thing is he's a brainiac. Like, he's a super, super smart guy. So he caught on to things very quickly. And he was a way better freestyler than I was. I overthought it. He would freestyle, like, tell him to go, he would go. You know what I mean? So me and him formed a group type of thing. We had like a duo. It was called Next of Kin.
Okay.
And basically Next of Kin was supposed to sign to Mark Men.
Okay.
So the time I visited Mark Men for the first time, I took my cousin with me. And then we did a song there called Straight Off the Streets. Straight Off the Streets, I think ended up on my first mixtape. If I think it's on there. But we have a song called Straight Off the Streets by Next Up. It was me and him. And we basically rocked up there with verses that were not about anything. We just had verses, and then we went at it. And we had a verse each, and then the guys were like, yo, pick a beat. And Q was there. Q, my producer Q was there. And he was the one who was like listening to us rapping, and he was like, oh, okay. He has this thing where he likes to look at people and he's like, okay. He's like susses guys out. So he's playing beats, and then he was like, nah, y'all can pick whichever one. And then we end up picking this particular beat. And it was just like really slow, and it had like a really dope ring to it. And I was like, this is the one. One thing about me, I'll tell you, I have a Rick Ross. I don't know who else I can say has this thing. I have a Jay-Z. I have a Rick Ross and Jay-Z ear for beats. I pick beats very well. Because I like hip hop, like I like music. So I know how to pick beats that sound really dope. You know what I mean? Some of them I never use because I feel like they're not for my flow, and I can never find a flow for. But in terms of picking, I'm very good at picking beats. So I end up going with my cousin there. We end up recording that. That was like the first recordings that happened at Mark Men. And then from there, I started visiting the label, a lot more. Now, because my cousin was much younger, he couldn't always come with me. You know what I mean? Then that's when now I started placing verses on things. I'd get to the label, I'd find something, you want to jump on, I put on.
So what's the temperature like now? The guys like you, they're saying you can come. Are they ahead of you guys? What you guys were already doing on the side?
What I find is that now there's more of a structure. There's beat makers.
Oh, there's a structure with them.
There's a structure now where there's beat makers. And there's a label where guys are trying to now, allocate themselves to duties. And
so which
I find
you guys didn't
beat
have
makers that can rap there, because my homies were rappers as well. All of them actually. But some can beat make and rap. Some. Don't let me say every one of the beat makers could rap. But now it was a situation where guys were just like, we're gonna do it this way. And then it was like, okay, now we're just gonna, if you're the rapper, we're gonna just feed you the beats. And then when you're gonna do the thing. But then it became,
so you like the structure they kind of had?
I really liked it. And the thing is, it was the first for me. And I feel like God really gave me a dope crew, man. Because these were just really dope guys that just fucked with my sound and were just like, hey man, yo, we really like what you do. And for me, finding those guys helped me because they slowly led me out of my underground phase into my learn how to make commercial music phase. So now
was that a tough climb?
It was a tough climb.
I know.
But there's no way to do it. There's no other way to get out of it than to make the music. Because as I kept making the music, I would now find, okay, now I've got, because I learned it through maybe Third Letter Music. After I made Third Letter Music, which was my first single, I made my first single, which was Third Letter Music, just around the same time. So
who are these guys? Let's just remap the crew.
I met VH.
VH
is brothers with TT.
Okay.
TT is Tubbs the Maestro, who is they own the label. These were three of them. There was their older brother, who. Arthur, who's just an older brother, and then there was VH and Tubbs. VH is the youngest. And as the three of them, these guys, they had that's where the stickman thing comes from. You know what I mean? And so the stickman thing was like the logo that represented the clique.
Okay.
And then as time went on, it became its own giant and its own clothing line, which is still reigning today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
So
now it was like
then the beat makers, who are they?
And then the beat makers was Q.
Yeah.
Q, which is QXJR. There's a whole other reason why he calls himself that.
Okay.
And then there was Mac.
Yeah.
And then there was Tubbs the Maestro as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
So, Mac Tara, Tony Tara, what up, Tara? And then Mac slowly kind of.
QXJR, that's. I knew about him, I just didn't know him.
Yeah, Kenneth.
Kenneth Jimbo.
He
was in the academic sphere.
Yes.
He was an urban legend.
He's another genius.
He was an urban legend.
He's another genius, that guy.
Apparently, he used to take everything.
Yeah,
Press giving.
He's a sniper.
He used to get everything.
He snipes all the things.
That's how we knew about him.
He snipes all the things.
Yeah. Okay, so it's those guys.
Yeah, those are the homies.
So how did you get signed?
I basically get signed after I've done the verses on some of the records that we had done. We did a song called The Rise, and then we did like a song called.
What happens? They pull you to the side, or?
Yeah, basically it was like one of those days when we're recording, and then it's just like, yo man, so what are you doing? But in all honesty, to really give real credit, the conversation was given to me straight by Mac.
Yeah.
Mac was the one who gave me the conversation directly, like on some, look man, this is what the label is trying to do, and this was on I think I was driving him home. We went to the label, and I think I had the whip on the day.
Yeah.
And then it was like, nah, I'll drop you, my nigga.
Yeah.
And then I was taking him home, and then he was just on some. So what's your plan, Wayna? Like, because
with your whole life,
we're this far, with the rapping thing. What's your plan with the rapping thing? Because I feel like you're nice. I feel like you're ready. You know what I mean? And in all honesty, the homies are kind of feeling like they want to pitch to you, in a way, a flagship artist.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. And this was news to me.
Because the guys also rap.
My thing is just that, no, he's all Wu-Tang.
But what would make guys step aside? Because everybody's rapping there.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to push them. Then they just meet you, who's new, who just came in.
You know what I mean?
And all you're doing is just lacing verses with other people's stuff. And what makes guys step aside and say, okay, we're going to push this guy? What do you think?
I wouldn't really. I think that would be a question you would need to ask either VH or Tubbs or Q. What was the conversation like when you guys decided that he's the guy to go first?
Yeah.
But for me, I think it was a thing where guys just felt like. I think to them, I sounded more seasoned. I sounded more ready, and I think it was more of a thing of. I think of all of us here, you're the guy who doesn't have the conflict of trying to also make the beats and trying to make this. And here we've organized the structure in a way that the administration has been allocated to everybody.
Yeah.
You're the only guy in this hierarchy who really just needs to rap hell.
But that's a rarity though we have in the industry.
It is.
We don't have guys who's stepping aside for nothing.
It is.
Everybody wants to be the front man.
And really for me, this is why I loved my niggas, and I still love them till this day, because of just the brotherhood and how guys were just willing to put themselves behind me. You know what I mean? Even with their work and everything. Because and this is why even on records, I would mention guys' names. Even on records, I would feature the ones who wanted to jump on the songs. I'd be like, the space is there.
Okay.
If you like it, put a verse. I was always open to, for my crew, for my clique, anybody could jump on.
Nice.
That's how I did it. You know what I mean? So that's basically how that kind of started. And then we moved.
I hear you, man.
And then we moved from the that's when we moved from that now to, I would say, around that time, that's when I kind of did a thing with the U.S. Embassy. Yeah. With Bosca, Bocaste, we did a thing together, a tour. And then that's basically when the name just kind of got, especially into the industry cats. That's when now I was getting that nod. Okay. I remember when we were on tour one time before I dropped the mixtape. Yeah. I was playing the guys thingy in the car, in the combi. I was playing it for Cast, really. Cast was asking me about it. And then Cast kind of just decides to alert niggas. Yo, you niggas need to hear this guy's new single.
That sounds like Cast.
Then he decided to jam Third Letter Music. So we're jamming it. And not being the shy guy, I'm just kind of now amongst the established artists.
Yeah.
Hey, Fana, guys, I don't want to lie, man. I could feel in the car, like, niggas were like, okay, okay. Yo, we've got one today, my niggas. We've got one today. I mean, I think I felt like there was a lot of, like, in the comedy that day when niggas were listening to that joint, there was a lot of, like, I'm not going to say fear, but I could feel the respect.
Yeah.
I could feel the respect on that. Yeah, this guy's not a one hit. Because I had already done the track that we did for the compilation together. It was a song called Mothers and Sisters.
Yeah.
And I think guys had picked up the kind of energy of a rapper I am.
Yeah.
But this was a whole other like side of me, like hard bars, like boom bap, kill beat type thing. And the type of beat that I got I had started gravitating to those, because that was the Kanye time was coming in. So I started gravitated to those beats that have the low voices, the low samples in the back. And once I got that beat, that beat has another story how I got it. But once I got that, I was like, the homies understand.
Okay.
And then I just got my
that
nod.
also boosted your confidence.
Then I got my nod from
cool.
niggas.
So so you're making the third letter music.
Yeah.
Then how you get in those? How did you get the Samantha feature?
The Samantha feature happened just after. So after third letter music, we move on to Vaccination EP. So basically after having the conversation with the homies, I signed in 2007.
Yeah.
2007 I signed. 2010 is when I dropped third letter music. So during that whole time, I was recording verses. This is the time when I was doing artist development, which doesn't happen a lot these days for guys, but I did that.
Nice.
And then I went through that, and that's when I decided. So third letter music was like the end of my artist development, because a lot of it was the mixtape was a lot of the verses that I've been doing over the years. So I kind of chopped up the songs into like one verse, and made a whole mixtape out of that. And then now that's when like third letter music was like, now I'm starting my solo career now. And then I start working on Vaccination EP. Vaccination EP ends up getting done the end of 2011. And then we drop it 2012. Around that time was the same time when I was working on Vaccination EP. When I started working on Vaccination EP was mid the time when now third letter music was charting on radios. Yeah. So I was doing like I think I had like 3 different charts that I was on at the same time. The crazy story about how I work with Samantha. Samantha had always known it.
I want to preface this because Samantha don't work with everybody.
She don't.
Right now she's got like 3 rapper features.
Yeah, like they are balwa. Funny enough, I'm on 2 songs with her. Somehow.
You have one of the only.
I'm probably the only rapper that's been on 2 songs.
And you know the deepest, craziest thing is she's family friends. Like it's deep. It's like when I was getting married. Her older sister had to sit me and my wife down before and just talk to us, lay down that deep. And I've been trying. I've been trying for that feature, but you got that.
But
feature,
if it's not that easy, because the thing is, you're actually not lying, because even the way I asked for it, I was told, this one doesn't just work with anybody. So I got this feature. The first request came in through Kenneth. Yeah. Q went to church with her. Okay. So his whole thing was like, I remember telling him about this chick. I was like, man, if there's a chick I want to work with, it's a chick I heard. They used to do, she was part of the group, was it Exodus? Yeah. She was part of Exodus. One time she performs at Exodus. Earlier years, when I went for an Exodus, I think it was 2008 or something. I see her and I'm like, yo, who's this chick? Yeah. And then I find out later who she is. And then I mentioned her to this guy. This guy ends up telling me, this girl, I go to church with her. Well, she schools outside the country, but I think when she's back, I'll try and talk to her. Yeah. And then he was on some, but hey, she doesn't just work with anybody. And then she's serious about her stuff, so we need to work on our things. Yeah. And you need to have something great for her by that time. So by that time, I've already started knocking out songs. Like, I'm trying to find the song. And I'm like, it's gotta be. And now I'm in my mode where I'm looking for my, you're all I need. So I'm looking for that. I'm looking for my if I rule the world. Do you understand? Got you. I'm looking for the mix between her sound and me. Yeah. Can't Knock the Hustle, Jay-Z, Mary J. Blige. I'm looking for that. So I know Q is the guy for me with the beat, because I'm like, you're the guy who doesn't go too hard with the beat. You still have that synth. You still have that sound in the thing that can just mellow it out nicely. You're the guy. I know we're going to find it. We're working on the records. Then I find a song by Sci-Hi. A Sci-Hi song called Top of the World. I find myself listening to the song so many times on repeat. And that's the thing about me. When I like something, I can play it on repeat for like hours on end. So I'm listening to the song on repeat. And then out of nowhere, I start writing to this song. I don't have the beat. I don't have anything. I have the song. But I'm writing to the beat. I'm writing to this actual song. And I'm writing my own version of Top of the World. So as I'm writing this item, I think after I had the first verse, somehow Q makes this new batch of beats. And this beat, there's a song on my album called Kosher Music. On that album, in that same batch of beats, there was the Top of the World beat was in there, and this particular beat, Kosher Music. They were all in that folder. I remember. So I find this beat. And then finally, when I have this first verse, and then I'm trying it to a couple of beats, and then I find this beat, and I try it to this beat. I'm like, this is the beat. Second verse, I hit second verse. Somewhere between second verse and I was like, I think. Then I start writing the hook. And then I wrote the hook and I had the track done, as in everything. But then I was like, I recorded the track and I was listening. I was like, this hook doesn't land the way I want it to land. It needs someone. So I start going through the names that I know. I'm thinking. Then I'm like, but this one, Samantha. This one is for Samantha. Coincidentally, like I'm saying, same time, I'm going to go see. So now same time, the appointment has been made. He's told her. She's checked out some of my stuff. So she. Because, and then I think she also had like a respect for Q, because she knew Q wouldn't just come to her with just anything. You know what I mean? So the appointment is made. We decide to go meet Game City. The day we're meeting with Game City, we decide to meet at 12, like by that open terrace area where before the extended height. So we're gonna meet there. So I get there real early. So I'm there. I'm like, I don't want to be late to meet Samantha Mokwedog. So I get there early. As she pulls up in the car park, she's listening to Yarn FM on Saturday at 12. They always play the number one song. Third Letter Music hits number one the day she's coming to meet me.
That's crazy.
In the whip. So this chick comes up to me. As she walks up to me, she's like, I'm like, hi, Samantha. She's like, congratulations. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you just hit number one. I'm like, number one where? She's like, on Yarn FM. I'm like, what? So I'm checking the time. I'm like, it's 12. It's 12. I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yeah, right now. You just hit number one.
Nice.
And I think that thing just sealed it for me. She was like, I'm definitely working with this nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, dude, I've got the song, whatever. And she's like, just send the song. I'm good.
That's cool.
I'm good. Let's do it. And she came by the studio, bro.
And she did 2 joints.
No. She did top. I don't know if she. No. The other joint, I'll tell you. The other joint is Dreamer. Obizi. Obizi has a song called Dreamer with me, him, a guy called L Trees, and Samantha Mohwe. And that was the first joint I ever got on. That was way earlier. That was like 2010, I think. I got on the track, and Obizi was just putting together this track, and he was just like, yo, there's this song I really think you'd sound dope on it. And
shout out to Obizi, man.
And yo, that track is huge. That track is loved so hard. And till this day, people ask us why we didn't shoot the video. So Obizi, get your mind right. You know what I mean? That's
so
my
cool,
dude, man. But that's how basically the feature happened with Samantha, and I was like, yo, this is so cool, man. Dude. And we made a smash. And radio certified that this is a smash. Nice one, man. Nice one. That's how it happened. And that was basically like, there's so many stories about Necessary Noise that just kept going. But basically that's how I got to Necessary Noise. And the name Necessary Noise was actually came from a conversation I had with my grandmother one time when I used to play my radio. I had like a small little radio in my room called Lobatse. This is like high school time when I was listening to a lot of Helter Skelter. And she'd ask me, and she would call my music Gitty Gitty. She was like, There's a giddy giddy. Well, I'm like, nah, this is music, man. And then I remember I don't know how the conversation was going, but basically she asked me, is it necessary for the noise to, like, is it necessary for it to be this noise? And I'm like, yeah, the noise is necessary. This is necessary noise. And that's how I was like, yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. Like, have you ever explained that? Okay, so
I think in a written interview I once did.
Nice. Yeah. Like, who's the creative one in your family? Like, are you picking up from anybody?
Funny enough, my grandmother told me I'm the first person in my family to make music. So it's strange for me because I don't know who.
What about your mom? Your mom sounds like a vibe. Like, I've met your mom once. Yeah. She was a total vibe from the time you met her. Like a people's person.
My mom is
like you meet for the first time and you just click like.
My mom is a people's person.
Yeah, like 100%.
My mom is a people's person. She's very cool. She's the center of the energy. Like when people are there.
Yeah.
She's very fair.
Yeah.
She's a Taurus, so she's one or the other. You piss her off, she will smoke you. You know what I mean? But she's very. Like, she's fair. That's where I get my fairness from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On a creative level, I think I pick up, I think more than anything, I pick up her, because I think the way I'm creative with words, she's creative with cooking. That's what I can say.
Yeah.
My mother flexes cooking very well. She does it off the top of her head. Like she knows her thing, bro. And it comes, and even the way she does it, you just need to watch her to watch how polished and how sure she is about. Nah, don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
My mother knows her thing with the cooks, man.
Nice.
Yeah,
man.
that's her thing.
That's
so
cool.
I think maybe I generated it more on the cooking side because I burn water, dog. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not okay. I don't burn water, but yeah. You feel me? But that's not my thing. Like, she's at that level with it. Like,
so what does this time look like for you? Like, are you still signed? What's the story now?
At this present moment, I'm not officially signed anymore.
Okay.
As in my like the years of my contract are up, but I'm a Mockman artist for life.
For life.
That I'm a Mockman artist for life.
Okay. So Bundling King, did you do that?
That's like Pac or Snoop being death row forever.
Yeah.
No matter what they do after that. So Bundling King was.
Did you do that independently?
No. Bundling King was actually my contract was up, but the label still used its resources to put that out.
Nice.
Yeah. This was because I had submitted the record in time. I had submitted the record in time, and then there was just a few glitches here and there that made it a bit of a problem to actually follow through with the admin of the label. And then it was like, once that had been resorted, I will, in all honesty, VH and Tubbs the Maestro were the ones that were just like, for what's left here, let's just put our resources together to just give you this album. And then we'll have a conversation after this. Do you want more albums? Do we want to make more music? Do we want to take in more artists? Do we want to push the label anymore? So I was like, okay, let's do that. We'll have the conversation after.
Later.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah.
So what's the condition right now? Are you gonna go back, or are you trying to do your independent stuff? Like, what's the story?
No, I think now I'm full on independent. Okay. I'm full on independent. I'm still working on starting my own imprint. But like the imprint, the thing is, for me, I've come to realize that the admin, I learned so much from Mockman that the admin is not a problem for me anymore. I know exactly what to do, when to do it. My only thing is now having to put Chub the businessman and Chub the artist into one thing now. So because the Chub the businessman has been watching the game a lot, and I've seen things, and I'm like, this is what a person should do now. This is what a person in my position who's been an artist in people's eyes, but you want to reinstate yourself in the game, but not look corny or not look like you're trying too hard. This is what you should do, or this is what you could try and do. Now, because with all that knowledge, now I need to bring that knowledge to the front, shelve it to the side, and then wake this guy up again and be like, yo, go write music. go write music, and then bring it here, and then we can do something with it.
Nice.
Because also on this side, this guy is also teaching me that it's also imperative to have a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then plus I'm also meeting a lot of youngsters. I'm also super into like
let's talk about youngsters.
Pushing these kids these days, man.
Let's talk about these kids.
I love seeing new talent a lot. So I spend a lot of time I'm spending a lot of time go Notwani these days.
Okay.
Watching a lot of these young guys that
I can't do that now because I'm in creative mode. I don't like leaning on. But that's something I also love to do. Can you tell me like what are you doing with these youngsters? What are you doing with like the next generation?
Right now, I'm trying to be as honest as I can with them.
Yeah.
I give the advice where I can. I give as much advice as I can.
Yeah.
I never turn down any kid who wants to talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
do they look at you like you're an OG, or is it like
they really do. They really do.
Nice.
I mean, they really look at me like as an OG. I've come to realize that there's a lot of youngsters that look at us. There's also a lot of youngsters that look at us like, you didn't pop off, you didn't make it, like you didn't you had your chance to go and be a Casper or whatnot, but you didn't make it. So they don't really pay you no mind. But I've really come to realize that I really don't have the time for those kids.
Yeah.
The ones that look at me like that, I don't have time for them. The ones that want the advice, I'm more than happy to give it to them, because if there's one thing I've come to realize is the biggest mistake we always made was everybody trying to go at this thing with their own, I saw how this guy failed, let me go. Yeah. Let me go now.
And they look at you like you're a failure.
They do. They look at us like we're washed up. They look at us like we're failures without really knowing the real pitfalls of being in that road. And then unfortunately, and it's happened to a couple of them who came out after us, who were kind of looking at us funny and were trying to, either turning down a feature when you're like, yo, let's work on something, feeling like this washed up rapper wants to take on my shine. And unfortunately, these are guys that we see now. You see what I mean? Now the problem about it is the game is just like the universe. It'll always reciprocate the energy you give it. You know what I mean? So the love that I gave guys when I came into the game, whether it was guys I found, my peers, a lot of the guys who were my peers were already in the game way before me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they accepted me when I came in. I showed them love. I showed their younger brothers love. I showed other young dudes love. Even at the height of when I was making records, I used to get calls from one person I'm very close to, the Stacks. Yeah. I got calls from people may have not known who Stacks was, but all he had to do was be as genuine as he was to me. Cool, and this is why me and Stacks are like brothers. Like, I love that guy. Nice. And me and him are so close right now.
That's so cool.
You know what I mean? We did Cold Nights, which was on his first album. Yeah. Then he did a second one. We've actually just done Cold Nights 3, which is about to drop. I saw that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, and man. That is the result of a brotherhood that we created ever since. You know what I mean? So we take care of each other out here, man.
Nice. Like, you know what? Like, it just reminded me of stories. Like, it always takes heart. Like, it takes heart, and you can see some of these youngins coming and they got like serious heart. Let me share you a story. Like, nephew, pre Bangai. Yeah. So he just found out about me. Like, oh, this is a guy rapping. So I knew him as a rapper because of Sprite.
Yes.
So
yes, nephew did rap.
Yeah, he was like Nephew G. That's what and he was a young dude. Okay. So he knocked on my door. He's just started writing his Phone 5. Yeah. He's in his Phone 5 uniform and whatnot. He's got a CD in his hand. And he's like, yo, man, I'm really looking to get on. This is all I have. Yeah. And he's like, look, listen to this. I do not have a PC. I'm doing this stuff on my mom's work laptop. So you can kind of imagine how you would do something on your mom's work laptop. Yeah. Kind of you'll be reminded every day, this is my work laptop. Yeah. Why is it slow? Yeah. What is happening? Where's the laptop? No, it's at work.
Things are in there.
You are putting things up. So he had like 9 to 10 beats he had that he did on his work. He didn't have anything else. So I'm like, you know what? I hear what you're saying. Let's see what we can do. This is like in the middle of his exams and stuff. So I call him up. I think he's like, no, let's meet this time. That's my last day. So last day of school. And I'm not taking credit for this. So, but he comes and he's with a shorter guy, light skin. I'm like, what's your name? He's like, yo, I'm Francois. I didn't hear it properly. I thought it was France. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So I take him around like to just guys with studios. I like to put him around there. I'm a face for going to US or whatnot. But you can kind of see already. But this guy, especially when they're together, it's just a whole different animal. Like, the keys is nice. Went to a guy who had an MPC. I guess what I'm Tato Bushman. Bushy.
Yeah.
Bushy has an MPC 2000 or something
Is
like
it?
that.
Okay.
The drum machine. So
yeah.
those guys went crazy. They
Yeah.
started making those drum beats and whatnot.
Okay.
But I can kind of see all of the energy and how they're talking. They had this thing. I'm like, these guys is nice.
These are the next.
These guys is nice.
Yeah.
And I'm looking to do something, but you know, you can like the 9 beats he had, it was still raw, but there was something there.
Yeah.
So, but I also like, okay, I kept it. I'm like, yo, you know what? When something pops up, I'll be the first to tell you guys. So, I don't. It's some rap.
I know Mrapa as well.
So Mrapa happened to be starting a studio, more phase 4. Yeah. And he wanted me to be one of his artists there.
Okay.
So he's like, yo. But I'm like, if I'm coming up, there's this youngin'. He's like fresh.
Yeah.
But he's got a lot of heart. He's like, okay, let me hear his beats. I'm like, yeah. He's like, they sound a bit raw. I'm like, yeah. But the way I see him, he won't be raw for too long.
Yeah.
Like he just needs. He doesn't have a PC. He doesn't have it. He just needs the right environment. Some rapper puts him on to be like the resident producer.
Yeah.
Go the thing. And he worked on about 5-6 albums, I think, there. Like back to back. And that's the right thing he needed. Even then, I'm not taking credit for this. When he was like there, I was like, yo, you need to bring France here. Actually, the way I put it was like, when you two guys are together, it's just different.
It's way more than it is now.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different. Actually, don't come without, that's how I put it.
Yeah.
Do not come without France.
Yeah.
And they started coming together. They probably had their own thing they were trying to try on the side, but that gave them the energy. And when they were working on my project, they'll do something like, yo, they're making the beats on spot, because I like to be there when they're making the beats. I'll be like, yo, change this, make this 6-8 bars.
You're like
I'm that guy. I'm like,
I can't listen to beats while they're being made.
I'm already, because I already have the vision. So make the chorus like this, make it high like this. I'm a producer by heart, but it's just like, I'd rather let the guys come through. So they would make these beats, and while they're making beats, it's almost like telepathic. You're like, the guy does this, and the guy is like, yo, that's what I was thinking. Yo, how did you do that? Like there's a different energy. I know right now they're not like together anymore, but it's all love, because I spoke to France and it was just all love. But that little, yo, give this guy a chance here, give this guy a chance here, give this guy a chance here, like open the doors for them to become what they are right now. Man. So it's like, these youngins, like sometimes if they show like, yo, we can do this, I can do this. You give them all the force. But not everybody will be back to say thank you or whatnot.
But, I mean, like for me, I just feel like it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm doing my part for a culture that did a lot for me, because I never forget the fact that I was a kid with like low self-esteem, and I really used this thing to become popular, and it did a lot for me. Like a lot of people might be like, why might be looking at it like, why didn't you just accept yourself? You know what I mean? Like people always play that card on people, like on some, no, you don't need to you don't need to fit in. But people don't understand what it's like being a kid who is not fitting in. You know what I mean? You go through a lot, and a lot of times parents don't realize that you're not. But okay, now I'm getting into my education.
Come on, let's talk about that. We haven't even spoken about that. So what did you study?
I studied I have associate degree in secondary education. So I'm a high school teacher. I'm a high school teacher of English and IT.
Okay, how?
How?
Why did you choose that?
Like, I think for me...
your granddad.
I think it will always like kind of stem from the old man. Like,
okay.
It'll always kind of stem from the old man. And then the IT thing, I was a big fan of IT, but I just couldn't get into the courses that I wanted to do in maybe university I didn't have especially on the math side, I didn't have the right math to get into those IT courses.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So this is how I was like, and then everything else that I had was perfect for IT.
Yeah.
When it came to the education side, it was like, you're perfect for IT then. You know what I mean?
Did you ever use your degree? Like, did you ever?
Yeah, I did.
Were you a teacher at one point?
I did teach.
For how long?
I've taught a couple of times actually. I've taught a couple of times, but
on and off.
Yeah, on and off. I've never been like fully been absorbed into the education system of the country.
Yeah.
But I've taught in a lot of different places. I've taught a lot of different schools around, but it's really more around the southern
This is
side.
why you've been like, I mean, at the same time while you're working on the music, you're still teaching.
Yeah. For me, it was.
Did the kids know rap?
Yeah, a lot of them at some point caught me out about it. Caught me out. But funny enough, it started even way back when I was like doing my teaching practice.
Yeah.
When I was still at college, I would go for like teaching practice, which is like when you're doing practicals so you actually go to a school.
Yeah.
So I was doing my practicals at Lobatse.
Yeah.
So, you know, my best friends' younger brothers were in the same school that I was in. So they were telling their homies
this guy raps.
This one is a dangerous one. So these like little boys would come in and it's not a battle.
Don't you battle?
I'm just like, I don't do that stuff. Man. I don't do that
so
stuff. But what's crazy about that?
Yeah.
Although we didn't directly, actually we met, but we didn't directly meet. We didn't directly meet on the hip hop side when I met him the first time. I met Oms while he was in high school. Yeah, I think my first teaching practice, because I did two. My first teaching practice, that was the year he was heading to high school. He was heading to Lobatse, I think. But I do remember him. Yeah, I do remember him, and I was always like, this one. And his homies, I used to ask him. I remember the other day I was chilling with him, and I was asking him about, where's this other homie? Where's that other? And we're just going through the list of guys who used to rap then. Because a lot of them, and I remember he wasn't even about like being out there. Funny enough, I think he had the same thing I did.
Yeah.
He was into rapping, but I think he was studying it a lot still.
Yeah.
Like me.
Yeah. And
then lo and behold, he becomes the guy amongst the whole crew to become an established rapper. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So he's like, he's not I wouldn't say he's my protege, but he's like the lineage. Like that's the lineage of.
There's a guy who hit you a shout out, another youngin. Well, I don't know if it's a youngin. The street poet. Like
street poet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I never met L when he was a young dude.
Yeah.
But funny enough, I suppose L always knew about me.
Yeah.
I met L at the Hub Music Series competitions.
Yeah.
I used to go and judge some of them. But then even when I wasn't judging, I'd just attend.
Shout out to.
And then
OC,
shout out to OC, man. OC is doing big things right now.
Yeah.
We need to connect. I'm slacking on something that he needs me to do.
Yeah.
But I'll get it right.
Yeah.
And then so those guys were there. I remember it was at Yarn FM at the top at the mall at Fairground Mall.
Yeah.
And these guys were there. And I think Izzy was one of the judges at the time. So guys are going. Obviously, I know there's not a lot of rappers from Lobatse, but I'm always just there to just check out what the scene has. So I hear some other guy. And then I hear a guy get on, and he's like, my name is Young L. He used to go by Young L. He says, my name is Young L, and I represent LOB.
Then you went crazy.
And then I turn, I'm like,
were you judging though? Were you judging?
No, I wasn't judging that day.
Okay.
And I'm so happy I wasn't judging that day.
Because it could have been biased.
I was like, oh no. I was like, oh man, here we go. What happens now?
Okay.
So chill.
Then you
and I'm chilling there by the escalator there. And also, if this guy sounds snacks, I'm just gonna step on the elevator. I'm just gonna let it go down,
real quick.
Just disappear into the. Nah, I'm playing, but I was just there like, also, okay, let me hear this guy. Yo, And after that, I was just like, I had the biggest smile on my face. Like guys were just like, "Hey, you're happy there?" I'm like, "Yeah." Because you see, and then T-Eazy's like, "Hey, Chub, like Yeah, and I think Izzy said something. I think Izzy said something along the lines of, "Hey, you see, guys are coming for your spot." I'm like, first of all, no one's gonna come for my spot. All right, nobody's gonna take my spot. But if there's one thing I will tell you right now, I've been telling you guys that LOB niggas are nice. Now you niggas will listen to me now because you guys been
sleeping.
You think I'm the only unicorn around here? I've got baby unicorns. Here's another one. You see now. All right, dog. I was so happy.
It made you feel good, man.
I was so happy that day. I went home. I remember I put up a post about it. Put up a post on my thing about it. He immediately and I even said I don't even remember what this guy's name is or whatever. But and then immediately he tagged himself on my post.
Yeah.
Hey, like in the comment, like on some that was me, big homie. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you were there when I did that. Like I'm like a huge fan. I'm like, my nigga, you and me were together.
One day,
that became my brother. Like
it was nice to see. It was nice to see those comments on social media once he hit like 1 million streams.
Yeah.
On his social. Yeah. And he just gave you that love. I read through and I was just like, oh, that's crazy.
Dog.
That's like, really crazy.
Like you gotta understand, like like my fam, like for me, family is a big thing, bro.
Yeah.
And I carry my hip hop niggas like my family. Nice, like you know how you and me are.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like we like, and we all have a special thing that's our thing. Like the conversations I have with you, I don't even have with other people, bro. Like I know that you're the guy to have that conversation with. I know when something happens, I know. This is why even when you send me those voice notes,
explain. What am I sending you? What conversations are we having?
No, we always just have conversations about the game and when things happen. Like we talk a lot about pop culture a lot.
Yeah.
And whether it's locally, whether it's internationally.
Yeah.
But we have very high level, like intellectual conversations.
Yeah.
And you know, you'll hit me about, and you'll be like, look, dog, I feel like this about this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm bugging or I feel like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, I don't know what you think. You know what I mean? And we'll have like a whole bunch of those things going back and forth throughout the day.
Perspective.
Exactly. Because, and the thing is, I enjoy that because my thing always, I know I'm always going to seep some sort of knowledge from you. You know what I mean? Like, I have those similar conversations with my brother Gilroy. Like, those are the kinds of conversations. We'll talk about things. And we'll be talking all day, and we can spend weeks not talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like you, we can. And for me, that's what family is. Like when I know that I don't have to see you all the time, but the time I do see you, it's like, yo.
Yeah.
So what's been up? Like, remember that thing? What do you think about that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There are a couple of people that listen to my show that would want to know a little bit. I heard you mentioning, like, you mentioned Taurus, you mentioned Gemini. Like, what like, do you follow that? Like, how far do you
on a zodiac astrological level?
Yeah.
Funny enough, I tend to think I'm not, but I have a very good friend of mine by the name of Lana. Lana Stamp. She's I don't know if I have to mention that she's a white lady.
Yeah.
But you know, she's a friend I met during my Form 5. After my Form 5, before I went to college, I was working at a busing tables by a restaurant called Black Steer in Game City, just when Black Steer had just been built. I mean, when Game City had just been built. So she was one of the managers that was brought from South Africa to come and like induct us here. And we became very close friends. And she was the one that actually clued me in on things. She was just like, no, dude, do you know that astrology like is a real thing? Like people were actually, she told me was, like, studies were done a long time ago of people who were born around the same times, and it was seen that these people tend to sometimes have similar characteristics. So that's where the astrology thing started building itself, that this one. And then I think it came all the way down to even having the exact date. Okay, the last date of Torasiki, then after that, Hotsenasi. And then, you know what I mean? Me, personally, I'm a Capricorn. And the funny thing is, once I started looking at things in that way, not like I look at it too much because I don't like check it every day or whatnot, but I know certain things about certain people. Same thing I was telling you now about my mother being a Taurus, and like the symbol is a bull, you know, and bulls are very violent, you know what I mean? But they can be chill when they're chill, but she has that thing about her. And the Tauruses that I met in my life, even the women, were almost all like my mother. You know what I mean? And then the Geminis are always like are very witty people. They have their own like thing going on in their mind where sometimes it's just like, hey, this one is always thinking about other things, hella. You know what I mean? Or I can be like one of the most crazy people to be around, but he's one of the most intelligent people I know.
I'm not sure I follow it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I believe in it, but the comparison are very compelling.
Yeah.
The things are very compelling.
Yeah, they are.
So you would say, because I've heard Kanye West go, I'm a Gemini. Then if you're going to put Kanye West and Oracle somewhere there's some similarities.
You see that?
Like, yeah.
You
then you're like going to be like,
and then there's a couple of other Geminis in the
which are like, okay.
Yeah, like there's a couple of other Geminis in the game.
Yeah.
But once you look at them, I don't know if Pusha T is one of them or something. But
Pusha
there's a
T,
couple
yeah.
of people
Pusha.
that once you are told, "Oh, this guy's a Gemini,"
Yeah.
then now you see those things all of a sudden. On
Then you start to
You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. Then okay, you mentioned God. You talk God a couple of times. Like what's that? What's that about?
My relationship with God is very direct, man. I come from a very Christian and very church going family. My Methodist you know what I mean? So my old man was and I mean old man as in my grandfather, because I grew up on my maternal side.
Yeah.
So my old man was a ledodana last Wesele, which is borreba like Methodist, the ones that wear the red item.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The red waistcoat.
Yeah.
So he was that guy, and he also became is it a preacher or pastor in the thing? But not like the high level one, but the ones that, you know, occasionally one Sunday he takes over the church.
Yeah.
So with that, it was like I always came from that, and I was always very like taught Sunday kerek. That's how it always was.
Yeah.
And then over time for me, I think maybe because I think one thing I'll be very honest about, church became very monotonous for me. Like I started feeling like I'm not paying attention. You know what I mean? And then over time, I started feeling very guilty about it. And in my guilt, I started running from like God and just feeling like maybe this thing is
around what age was that?
I would say the time when I stared creating music. Yeah.
That's
so
creating other people's music?
No, my music. So I'm talking maybe post high school, like maybe.
So you used to go to church until about high school?
I was going to church in primary school. Like I'm that Sunday school kid when it's time for Sunday school. We're in the Sunday school class after that.
That's crazy.
The old man, like this is like my surname is very synonymous with our church. You know what I mean? So like I was church. The like Mona since dog. I'm so Methodist that.
Wait, are you an only child? You're an only child?
Not anymore. No, I have a half sister.
Okay.
I have a half sister, but I was also raised by my grandparents, who also kind of like adopted my sisters, who are my cousins.
Yeah.
So I grew up having sisters.
Okay,
in the home.
gotcha. 100%.
You know
okay,
what I mean?
Yeah. So church, like, still, then you started making your own music.
So around the time when I started making my own music, that's where I was trying to really find the thing, because I had the ability now to wake myself up every Sunday and go to church, and I wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I wasn't finding that driving force to do that. You know what I mean? And then I think over the years, that's when now I started discovering that it's okay to actually, for me, and this is a personal thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's okay to have it's actually okay to have a relationship with God and not always have a relationship with church. Yeah. And once I became okay with that, I don't really remember what made me okay with it, but once I became okay with that, that's when me and God started clicking again. You know what I mean? Like I started like, and it's funny because my cousin was saying this to me. Gilroy was saying this to me the other day when he was driving me back to, like, when I was in Joburg the other day. And he was just.
Is that something that happened recently? Like
I'm talking. What he's telling me now?
No, your feeling of. Okay.
No, that feeling happened years ago.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but Gilroy was telling me this because this was something that because he was telling me that about my ability to have discernment in any situation.
Yeah.
And he was just on some. he was like, dude, I don't know if you know this about yourself, but you have this ability to see through things, like to see through any bad thing, to see through anything that's going on, and you'll give it to a person the real way it is, to kind of like wake them up and just be like, nah, dog, can't you see like God is talking to you in this way? Don't do that or do this, or you might think this is this, but something is, you can't see the communication. So the thing is, for me, I think I hit my neo phase once I let go of the guilt of not going to church.
I like the whole neo phase.
Then I started seeing in these colors. You know those lines started. That's when I was seeing in the Matrix now, and I was like, oh, okay. So God is here. God is not in church. Like, and the thing is, those who go there, I know why they go there. Like, people have their different reasons for going there.
Yeah.
But if you don't go there, don't let it stay you away from coming to God and saying, Mudim, I need your help. I feel like this. Because that's where my thing was like, I felt like I wasn't doing my part of our agreement by going to church. So it was like, because I'm not doing my part of my agreement, I was kind of embarrassed to talk to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I mean, not to bash the Methodist church.
Yeah.
But the it's in the name. The Methodist. Sometimes it becomes very
I mean, and it really is even now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're finding new ways, and when I say we, I still consider myself a Methodist. I talk to my mother all the time, and we have amazing conversations.
HP also is a Methodist.
Yeah. We come from the same. We're actually from the same area because that's our church. Like Methodist, a lot of us come from that church.
Oh, nice,
so the coolies, the double HPs, the Momulimis, most of us.
That's crazy, man. So like for me, my mom like really came close with God. My dad is from an Anglican, my mom is from a Catholic.
Yeah.
But she came like really deep with God after my dad died. I was around 7.
Okay.
And I was just tagging along, dog. Yeah. But when I turned 12, I was just like, you know what? Nah, this is not for me. It was tough because you're 12. Now you think you're grown.
You see
now
what I'm saying?
You're too grown for this house. So it's either I'm locked out or locked in, or vice versa. Not like it was tough for me, like with that vibe. But I was just feeling like, you know, there's a lot of things I don't understand.
Yeah.
And this whole thing is feeling like a scam. This whole thing feeling like a scam, and there's a lot of things I don't understand here. But the part which you're talking about, which is like the personal relationship thing, came around like when I was like 22 years old, like type vibes. Yeah. Then I was just like, you know what? I also can be scammy sometimes. I'm also can be scammy. Did you have a moment? Dude, it's crazy things like hip hop, man.
Yeah.
There's this guy, he came through, he was helping my aunties. My aunties had just come.
Okay.
So he was helping my aunties move, like go back, they're going to Zambia. So he's playing some crazy music. So I'm like, what you playing? What's that? Is that 50 Cent? Like, what's that? It's like G Unit, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's a guy called The Truth. So I'm like, The Truth. I've seen him because I saw him like on MTV, Sweet 16. There's this Sweet 16 thing where Pastor's Kid brought this Christian rap guy.
Oh, right. So they brought him.
Yeah, they brought him.
Oh, dope.
Christian Pastor's Kid. And he was, the guy, everybody enjoyed it. It was nice. I was like, I heard of him. So he played this song called The Resurrection. Yeah. So The Resurrection said, I haven't recited in a minute. So I'm homesick. This body's a tent. It says, no, I'm homesick. This body's a tent. I guess it's safe to say that I'm homeless. I forgot it. I'm gonna butcher it if I say it.
Okay.
And you say something like, just as sure is like our riches are tied up in heaven, and just as sure as a fugitive runs, our monies are tied up in mutual funds. Cats be like, you get unusual ones. That's because the riches we got stored up for after the funeral, son. Numeral 1, Christ had to rip the veil because there was bad blood between us like sickle cell, anemia, the media. They keep feeding us lies. Immediately we eat it up like medium fries. Whoa.
Okay.
So it's like, nice. And we had bad blood between us like sickle cell,
Yeah,
anemia, the media, the key. So anemia, like sickle cell anemia, is something my little sisters were born with.
Oh.
I got little sisters that are twins.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's literally it's bad blood, and that causes them like really not being in line.
Yeah.
So the whole thing was Christ had to rip the veil. When Christ was crucified, I don't know how I remember that story. Like got temple, like there's in the temple, like there was a veil that ripped. So this veil was like exactly what you're talking about. It prevented people from having a direct relationship with God because the priest was the only one who could go into the temple through the veil and meet with God and tell them what God, to come out and tell the people what God is saying. Now, when the veil was ripped, it was like, yo, guys, there's direct access between us and God. Yeah, and it's like, yo, we need to be in that place where, because Christ died so that we can have this direct access. So it hit me hard.
I hear you.
It hit me real hard.
That's crazy.
And here's the craziest story. When I was explaining this verse, like this rapping this thing with my wife, we were rapping it bar for bar. Like she knows
when you met her.
Yeah. Like when I was explaining it, we were rapping. That's crazy.
That's level. That's level.
We're rapping it bar for bar.
That's hard, man. That's hard.
It's crazy because So anyway, she it's a whole story on its own.
Shout out to the wife. Shout out to the missus. You know?
Yeah. So anyway, so that's like for me, like I really feel you on that direct access thing. Yeah. And a lot of people get that wrong. Yeah. But I feel like having like what you have with your moms, like that community, really helps. Like having people around you, having that community really helps.
And I can't lie, like over the years, me and my mother have clashed heads all the time. Yeah. Just about certain things. Yeah. That I just feel like, should it be like that? Should it be like this? And she just, no, you need to, you know what I mean? Because you know, some people are set in their ways, and I respect that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But my thing is just like, my thing really has just become, I see things this way now, and I feel like I feel like I take pride and I take happiness in the fact that I just have to answer to God about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? If I'm doing it the wrong way, I've given him direct access to sort me out. Yeah. If I'm not to be like and then once I get that discipline from him, I'm like, ish, my bad. Because, you know what I mean?
My bad, big homie. Yeah, man. Dude, out of respect for your time, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I really want to honor your time. This has to be just a part one. There's a lot to talk about.
I ain't got no problem with that.
There's a lot to talk about, you know. There's a lot to talk about, man. But we got to know just a lot of your history. Anything you're doing now, like anything you're working on.
I think to end part one. Yeah. Let me just say, I'm still in myself. I'm still inside of me between here and the music. The music will always come. Yeah. I realized something. There was a time I was listening to. There was a time I watched an interview that Method Man was doing, and Method Man was talking about how he gets so busy, and guys were just asking him about, you know, his scheduling to put the album, to make a new album, and he was just talking about that. The problem isn't like time anymore. Like the problem is the other things that I'm doing. If I want to make an album, I know the things that I need, and once I have those things in place, I can knock out an album in like 2 weeks. For him, and the thing is, once he said that, I actually understood, because in part two, I'm going to tell you the story of how I created the Bundling King album.
Yeah, I want to know that.
That was another higher power level. Something happened there. That just showed me that I will forever be this guy. Like, I'll forever have this skill, and I will always have it at a very high level. Yeah. I just need to know how to tap into it. Yeah. Yeah. So
nice, man.
So yeah, man.
100%, definitely.
But you know, that's what it is.
Yeah, man, definitely a part one. We're gonna
yes, sir.
Yeah, I think we would have done some things they don't know about. We're about to do some stuff you don't know about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Some stuff coming out.
We about to smash.
I get it.
Summer.
Yeah, man. Please share this video, share these clips.
Do we have a name for the show?
Yeah, it's called On the Couch.
It's called On the... Well,
You've been on the couch.
Part 1 of On the Couch with your boy Chubbito at Chub Heights. At Chubbito267, at Chubbito Bantling King. Follow me everywhere, man.
Follow him everywhere.
And let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let us know what you think about this episode.
For sure.
And I'll see you guys part 2.
Cheers.
Bye.